If you are overwhelmed and doing everything yourself, you might be missing the one hire that could completely change your business: an executive assistant. Leila Hormozi, the co-founder of Acquisition.com, says the best executive assistants are proactive thinkers who solve problems before you ask them, and in this video, we'll share her advice on how to get that hire right. Let's get started. Advice 1. Hire an experienced executive assistant who can help you scale your business. Hiring an executive assistant is unlike hiring for any other position. Here's what Leila says. Getting an executive assistant warrants a bit more consideration than any other role. That is because, first, I cannot train this person, but I can provide them with context, communicate effectively, and build a relationship. Since I've never been an executive assistant or had one, I need someone more experienced. Second, I wanted someone I could hang out with even if they were not my executive assistant, because this role can help you accelerate past other bottlenecks in the business if the relationship is right. In summary, choose an experienced executive assistant with whom you would genuinely enjoy working. Advice 2. Do not avoid hiring an executive assistant just because it makes you feel vulnerable. Hiring an executive assistant is not easy, and many founders avoid it for one reason. Leila explains it like this. We often make excuses for not wanting to hire for this role because it is challenging and makes you feel vulnerable, since this person is in your personal space and knows everything about you. And many people hesitate to trust someone enough to share their personal details. So, instead of avoiding hiring for the role, focus on finding someone you can trust completely. Advice 3. Hire an executive assistant who solves problems before you ask. The strongest executive assistants make your life easier by acting before you even have to say a word. As Leila puts it, you want someone who anticipates your needs. For example, if I tell my executive assistant that next week looks rough and I'm not sure how I'll manage, 2 days later she has already made adjustments. That's why you don't want someone who waits for instructions, because if you've never had an executive assistant before, you won't even know what to tell them. Advice 4. Hire an executive assistant who gets things done without relying on you. Your executive assistant shouldn't rely on you for everything. Here's how Leila explains it. You need someone resourceful who can work with your team, communicate with vendors, and obtain resources on their own. You should be their last resort, not their first, because a truly resourceful person rarely needs to come to you. Advice 5. Hire an executive assistant who mirrors your values in every interaction. Here's how Leila explains it. Your executive assistant should reflect your values in their communication. I consider myself a fast communicator who does not make people wait long for a response, and my executive assistant is just as quick, if not faster. That shows me that she represents my values when interacting with others. So you should never have to worry about the impression your executive assistant makes, but for them to reflect your values, you first need to know and clearly communicate what those values are. Advice 6. Hire an executive assistant who can handle multiple responsibilities. You want your executive assistant to be able to keep things running smoothly even in your absence. Here's how Leila puts it. You need someone who can handle random projects and tasks that no one else on your team can, so that you can focus on what you do best. And a good executive must be able to do that. You do not want someone you pay as little as possible just to push buttons and check emails. You need someone strategic who understands people and holds them accountable. Advice 7. Hire an executive assistant who is conversant with the current technology. To support you fully, an executive assistant must be comfortable using the latest technology to complete tasks efficiently. This is how Leila explains it. You want someone who is tech-savvy. Many people come from a less tech-savvy culture, but if you want someone to truly support you, they need to figure out technology and know how to use it to the fullest. So here's a recap of Leila Hormozi's advice for hiring an executive assistant. Hire an experienced executive assistant who can help you scale your business. Do not avoid hiring an executive assistant just because it makes you feel vulnerable. Hire an executive assistant who solves problems before you ask, gets things done without relying on you, mirrors your values in every interaction, can handle multiple responsibilities, is conversant with the current technology. Now, if you want to make the best hires, I highly recommend you hire through WorkScreen. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching.